Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at someone pretty unique in the UK scene, Black the Ripper.
Yeah, a figure who really sits at this fascinating crossroads, doesn't he? You've got grime music, activism, and this real entrepreneurial spirit all rolled into one.
Exactly. And we're drawing from some analysis here, specifically Black the Ripper, Grime, Cannabis, and Activism via Nug Notes. The sources really frame him as, well, someone who used his platform, his culture, for direct action, very visible action.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we want to unpack, isn't it? How did this one guy, this MC, manage to turn something like, smoking weed, which was illegal, into such a powerful political act?
Right. And not just make a statement, but actually build a whole brand, a successful one, Dank of England, way before legalization was even seriously on the table in the UK.
It's a fascinating case study, really, in how culture can sometimes push things forward, maybe even force the hand of legislation eventually.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning then. His roots. He was born in Edmonton, North London back in '86.
Yeah, Guyanese and Montserratian heritage, a North Londoner through and through. Big Arsenal supporter, too, apparently.
And before the activism really kicked off, he was making waves as an MC, right? On pirate radio.
Absolutely. That's where he cut his teeth. Stations like Axe FM. You had to be sharp back then. Really good on the mic.
And he stood out.
He did, yeah. There was this political edge to his lyrics even then. It wasn't just aggression. There was intelligence there, a clarity. People noticed. He earned that respect. The bars felt real.
And he was putting out a lot of music, like a real mixtape machine in those early days.
Oh, definitely. You had motivation music, Hollow Black, the Edmonton Dream. He was prolific.
This was during that whole SBTV explosion too, right?
Exactly. Peak SBTV era.
Yeah.
Which was huge for UK music, basically launching careers left and right. And he was right in the thick of it.
Doing sets, clashing with people.
Yeah, sparring with guys like Chip, Getz, big names. He didn't get on those platforms unless you could really spit. So he was proving his musical chops, definitely.
But even then, the sources say the other stuff was already there. The cannabis and the politics.
Yeah, it's like the analysis points out. The bars came first, sure, but the spliffs and legalization rants trailed every verse. It wasn't an afterthought.
He was weaving it in from the start.
Totally. He was making it part of his identity as an artist, which then really comes to a head with the Outlaw series.
Yeah. Tell us about that. That was around 2011 to 2014.
Roughly, yeah. And if the early stuff was about skill, this Outlaw series was like his manifesto. It was raw, political, and very, very pro-weed.
And this was before it was trendy or, widely accepted.
Oh, long before it was cool or safe. He was using his music to call out police, racism, what he called UK hypocrisy. It really established that defiant streak he became known for.
So he was taking a real risk, being so public about it back then.
Absolutely. He wasn't just rapping about legalization in the abstract. He was framing the whole issue around systemic bias, police overreach, social inequality, things he saw growing up in North London.
So the Outlaw series wasn't just legalize it was much broader.
Much broader. It positioned the cannabis user, the smoker, as someone resisting an oppressive system. He was demanding justice, not just acceptance. A really uncompromising voice.
Okay, let's unpack that activism a bit more, because as you say, he didn't just keep it in the music. He took that defiance out onto the streets.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting, almost theatrical.
Yeah.
He seemed to understand instinctively that to challenge something so ingrained legally, you needed to be impossible to ignore.
Visibility was the weapon.
Exactly. Forget quiet lobbying. He turned the act of smoking itself into, like, performance art protests in very public places.
Okay, give us some examples. The sources mention some pretty bold moves.
Well, think about sparking up inside a McDonald's, just walking in and lighting up.
Wow. Okay.
It forces everyone there, customers, staff, to confront the issue. Right there in his everyday corporate space, it's deliberately provocative.
And then there was the London Eye stunt.
The 420 hotbox in the London Eye. That was brilliant political theater.
How did he even manage that?
Right. Taking one of the city's biggest, most visible, secure tourist spots and just hotboxing a capsule high above London.
That must have made headlines.
Huge headlines, national news. It pushed the conversation way beyond the music scene. And the sheer audacity, the risk involved, showed how serious he was.
And it wasn't just about smoking, was it? Didn't he march with actual plants?
Yeah, marching through central London, like right through the heart of the establishment, carrying cannabis plants.
Wow. Directly confronting the police? presumably?
Absolutely. It was a physical statement, wasn't it? Saying, this is a plant, it's agriculture, not some evil contraband.
So these weren't just stunts for clicks, then?
No, no, they felt very strategic, all aimed at normalizing the culture, pushing back against that image of the shady criminal smoker. Visibility and provocation, those were his tools against what he saw as oppression.
Okay, so he's built this reputation as an artist, an activist, the sort of outlaw figure, and then he pivots into business.
Yeah, which is such a smart move. He realized, okay, if the system won't legitimize this, I'll build my own legitimacy. Around 2015, he channels all that energy into a brand.
Dank of England, DOE.
Dank of England, co-founded with Screech Tree. And it wasn't just merch, you know? It was this whole hybrid thing, music, streetwear, the cannabis culture, the activism, all bundled together.
The sources called it Britain's unapologetic cannabis lifestyle brand.
Which is spot on. It basically gave that whole community, UK smokers who felt marginalized, a banner to rally under, an identity.
And the branding itself was clever, wasn't it?
Oh, incredibly. Simple, symbolic, instantly recognizable, the merch, the pop-ups which felt like events.
In the £4.20 price point.
Yeah, the £4.20 pricing. That's not just a price, it's a signal, a nod to the culture, a statement of belonging. Everyone in the know got it immediately.
Did that outlaw status ever cause problems for the business side? Like, wasn't he constantly risking raids or trouble with the law by being so open?
Well, yeah, that's the fascinating tension, right? But for him, the risk was the brand. It was its authenticity.
Right. People weren't just buying a T-shirt.
Exactly. They were buying into the resistance, supporting the cause. His willingness to operate so openly, so defiantly, just cemented his credibility with his audience. He was living it.
And he kind of codified all this in an album later on, didn't he? Money Grows on Trees.
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
And that title, it wasn't just catchy. It was his philosophy.
How so?
It was basically the gospel, according to DOE.
Yeah.
Pushing this idea that cannabis isn't just culture, it's an economy. It's about empowerment, especially economic empowerment, through the plant.
And he got some big names on that album, too.
Oh, yeah. The track billet, for instance. You had Chip, Big Narsty, Smasher.
Right.
Major players in the grime scene.
So bringing the top tier of UK rap directly into this message of cannabis, culture, and commerce.
Precisely. It showed how far the movement had come, how integrated it was becoming within the wider UK culture, largely thanks to his efforts.
Now, before we wrap up on his legacy, it's worth mentioning his roots again, his connection to the Caribbean.
Definitely. He had really strong ties, spent a lot of time in Montserrat specifically. His family heritage was important to him.
And tragically, that's where he was when he passed away.
Yeah, it was incredibly sudden. Shocking, really. He died of a heart attack in Montserrat on April 6th, 2020.
And he was so young, only 33.
Just 33, yeah. The news just sent shockwaves everywhere. Through UK rap, the cannabis world, globally. A huge loss.
Especially as he was still so active, so influential, it must have felt like a massive blow to everything he'd built.
It was devastating. But, you know, the foundation he laid, particularly with Dank of England, was strong.
So the brand continues.
Oh, yeah. Screech Tree and the whole DOE family are still carrying that torch. You see the brand everywhere, from big international cannabis events like Cannabis right back to the streets of London.
So DOE itself is still a form of protest, in a way.
I think that's exactly how they see it. Every hoodie, every grinder, every bit of merch sold is like continuing the fight he started. It's commerce, yeah, but it's still charged with that same defiant energy.
So when you look back at his whole impact, what's the main takeaway?
It's that blurring of lines, isn't it? Artist, activist, outlaw, entrepreneur. He was all of them, often at the same time. He literally turned smoking weed into a form of, protest art.
And gave UK smokers an identity.
A visible, proud identity. And maybe most importantly, he proved that culture can build its own space, its own economy, even when the law is against you. Which brings us back to where we started, really. His story powerfully illustrates that idea that culture often moves faster than legislation. He created the demand, the visibility, the cultural acceptance, which puts pressure on the system to eventually catch up. He made it impossible to ignore.
It really makes you think, though, how much did that success, building Dank of England, rely on him being that outlaw, that unapologetic figure pushing boundaries?
That's the core question, isn't it?
And what happens to that kind of protest energy, that defiance, if and when the laws actually change? Does it lose its edge? Something definitely to ponder after this deep dive.